What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Paramotor Crazy. I'm wearing my helmet, and this is living proof that the GoPro 7 Black can be hooked up to an external mic through that stupid $50 adapter. Here's how to do it.
So yeah, I'm going to show you in a moment here how to hook up everything on your helmet the way you want it so you can get the GoPro 7 recording audio while you're filming. It can be done. I'm going to show you how, but really the reason why I did is because I made this video a couple weeks ago. I was flying with the Tri-State Skywalkers and the audio was horrible. Take a listen to this.
Yeah, we're flying with Tri-State Skywalkers. Everything looks good on the right, and all gets the control, and here we
I mean, doesn't that just remind you of Eddie Murphy Delirious and when he was imitating James Brown? If you don't remember. All right, so first of all, let's take a look at the whole helmet. As you can see, we call him Little Dave is modeling my helmet for me. And I know if you're not a paramotor pilot and you don't have a GoPro camera mounted to your helmet, you're thinking one thing. It looks like the Teletubbies. Yeah, I guess it does. So, most important thing you can have on your helmet is a good look. So, my beautiful wife, Jenny, went ahead and put my Paramotor Crazy name on the back of the helmet because if there wasn't enough identifying my helmet with all the crazy stuff on top of it, now I've got a label too. So, you can see the GoPro is mounted on the very front of the helmet. Now, what I did, because everybody knows those GoPro batteries go so quickly, I went and I got from Target a $25 battery pack, and it's got a lot to it. There's 2 USB ports. For me, I picked out a Rode microphone because they say you can use any one of them. So what I did, let's go ahead and look at just how it's assembled first. So I have it going in, tied into the other microphone as well. You can see the line is right on the boom mic going into the setup that I have here. So to cover up any wind hitting the microphones, this is actually the bottom half of an Easter egg, and I just put some black electrical tape over that. And on the other side, that's not a dead cat like you would want. It's actually a cat toy that I just took the stuffing out of, and I put both microphones into that and zip tied it together. Here is the infamous adapter that GoPro sells for $50. Don't look at it as you're spending an extra $50. Look at it as your GoPro 7 Black is now worth $450, right? So now looking at the top, you can see at the very bottom of this picture here is the external battery, and I've got the wire going into the helmet and then coming up through another one of the holes at the top, and it goes into the adapter. That's the bottom of the 2 cords. Then the top cord is the microphone adapter. Now, what's very important about the lapel mic that you choose is how many rings it has going around the sleeve. So the TS has 1, TRS has 2, TRRS has 3. And most of the microphones have 3 rings going around it. So if you can find with 2, that would be great. But if you can't, you're going to have to get a TRRS to TRS adapter and plug that in. And that is what you see going around the bottom part of the adapter there where it's plugged in. So I just have it real neatly tucked away in there, and if you look at the inside of my helmet, you can see you really don't see too much in wires. They're going around underneath my padding, and where there are the wires exposed, I just put some electrical tape there as well. And when I'm wearing the helmet, I don't feel the thing. The only other thing I did was I moved up my Cena controls. When I got my helmet, they were down at the bottom and it was just stuck on with very strong sticky. I took that off and I moved it up towards the top of the helmet because every time I turned my head on my trike, I would hit the disconnect button, which is that big round knob there. So other than that, that's the main parts of my mega helmet, as I'm calling it. The only things I'm thinking about adding is cup holders so I can drink some beer while I'm flying, or my wife suggested putting a propeller on the top and trying to make that into a turbine. So one of the things I'm going to do in a moment is test out my helmet. I'm going to run the motor so you can hear how good the sound is when the motor is running. And I'm also going to test it in front of a little fan. But the reason I'm not going to test it when I'm flying is because my wing is currently being repaired. No, I didn't tell you about that. Let me take you back a couple days.
So take these broken wings, learn to fly again,
Learn to live so free. Okay, so what happened to my wing? So I was coming in for a landing, and I had those big, heated gloves on. Now, a lot of times when I come in for a landing, I like to do, I like to go a little bit further before I actually come down. So I'll come in as if I'm doing a touch and go with my motor still running, and it's never been a problem. Come down, kind of coast a little bit off the ground, kill my motor, and then land. But here I was coming down, and remember I also had the snow. This is the first time I landed in snow. So I couldn't hit my kill button and keep it pushed down. My glove kept slipping off of it. And when I landed, I stopped pretty quickly in the snow instead of rolling a little bit. Well, one of my lines got caught in my propeller, pulled my wing in, and slashed up my wing. And that's why I have broken wing. So got my box, I'm ready to ship it off. Hopefully get it back here in about 2 weeks and get back off the ground. That's what's going on with my broken wing.
Alright guys, so what I'm doing right now is I'm standing in front of a mirror, I'm facing a fan that's blowing directly at my face, and I'm testing what it's like to have the wind blowing right at me and how this sounds. I've got the microphone about 4-finger width away from my mouth, so hopefully the sound is pretty good. Actually, since I'm looking for something to say, this is probably a great time to say, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, why aren't you doing it? Hopefully you got some good information about how to set up your GoPro camera with the external mic, and if you did, if you found something useful, give me a little thumbs up just to tell me that this wasn't such bad information. And then if you want to see the next video to see how this all really works while I'm flying my paramotor, hit the little bell button next to the subscribe. That way you're notified when that video comes out. So I think we got enough of the wind test. Next thing we'll do is we'll go outside with the motor started up and see how it sounds there. Hey guys, before we test the sound with the motor running, I did want to show you what the setups are on the camera so you are doing it exactly the way I'm doing it. So let's take a look at the camera real quick, and also going to give you a couple tips as well. One thing you want to make sure that you're doing is before you even turn your camera on, you've got everything plugged in, the microphone plugged in and the power going from the external battery. And I have found that when I after I start recording sometimes, and if I plug the power in after it's recording, it'll stop all sound. Another thing I found is that if I start recording on my GoPro and then put the USB cord into the external battery, it'll start going off, it'll twitch and it won't work. So make sure everything is plugged in before you put the camera on. I am recording in 2.7 at 30 frames per second. I know it's a little bit difficult to see on here. There we go. And in your preferences, so when you scroll down, you're going to click on preferences. You're going to scroll all the way down to where it says input and output. Click on that. And then for audio input, you're going to get a couple choices here. And I'm keeping mine on standard mic right there. And I found that if I put it on standard mic plus, you'll hear all this popping and crackling. So on standard mic, and I know I said with the fan test that you need to keep your microphone about 4-finger width from your mouth. With standard mic, you can keep it as close as about an inch away from your mouth, and you'll have no problems with that. Alright guys, so it's a pretty cold morning here. I've got the motor set up on my trach. We'll give it a start. Now I'm also in my garage right now, so you should hear some echo. So it's going to be pretty loud. It's not going to be like being out on the field or being up in the air. But hey, let's just give it a try and see how good this sounds. So here we go. Prop clear. Look at that. Alright guys, so right now I am facing the motor. About a quarter throttle right now. That sounds pretty good. I'm going to get in the cockpit here just so I have my back to it, because that's how I'd be flying, is with my back to the motor. Hopefully I don't go flying through the front of my garage. Let's see. That's really right there is takeoff speed. And there's how it sounds right there. So hopefully this is a good test. And the only problem is I can't hear myself talk. I can hear myself in my mind, but I can't hear it through my headset. And I guess that's the only issue I have. But other than that, as long as I'm talking normal, it should sound pretty good.
If you have any problems with the GoPro, certainly leave a comment down below. I'll see if I can help you. I'm also going to leave a lot of information that GoPro sent me in regards to what mics you should recommend using, SD cards, all the things that you would need to know to make this thing work. But hopefully I'll give you everything you want. Thanks for watching. Hope this helped a lot of people. I think it did. So hopefully it did. And just keep flying safe and fly paramotor crazy. Thanks.